If you're divorced and no matter how much you think, journal, or talk it through, clarity still feels out of reach, this isn't confusion. It's a nervous system without structure. Now, if you're new here, my name is Danielle. I'm a life redesign coach, and I help women navigate life's most unexpected pivots so they can take full authorship of their next chapter. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you one question that changes how you relate to what you're feeling in this current moment so that you stop trying to fix yourself and start understanding what is actually happening. This matters if you're in that in-between season, no longer in the marriage, not yet anchored in what's next, and the world around you seems to expect clarity before your body has caught up. I see this pattern constantly with women who are capable, emotionally intelligent, and deeply reflective. They've done the work, they understand themselves, and still something feels unsettled in a way that they can't actually fully explain. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 3 things. What is actually happening after the divorce, why forcing clarity can actually make it worse, and I'm going to leave you with one reframe you can apply immediately that brings relief. Most people think the hardest part of divorce is emotional closure or decision making, and while that makes sense because that's the language we've been given, there's one concept that people rarely talk about, and that is the fact that marriages organize your nervous system. It creates rhythm, rules, predictability. Even if the marriage was painful, horrible marriage, at least your system knew what to expect. And once you get divorced, that structure is suddenly removed. Let that sink in. What's actually happening is what I call a nervous system mismatch. Your life circumstances change faster than your body could recalibrate. So your system starts scanning for stability, and when it can't find it, clarity shuts down. Now, this isn't resistance, this isn't weakness, it's just a way that your body protects itself. And this is something I work through with my clients way before we start talking about goals. Now, let me slow this down and make it very practical, because once you can recognize this, a lot of the self-judgment will fall away. So nervous system mismatch after a divorce doesn't usually look like this dramatic overhaul. It looks like things almost feeling okay. You might be able to make decisions and then immediately second guess them. You might feel productive during the day and strangely unsettled at night. You might crave change one moment and then feel completely overwhelmed by even the smallest choices the next. Some women describe it as restlessness, others describe it as numbness, while many say, I just don't feel like myself anymore. All of those are different expressions of the same thing. Your system is still orienting to a life without the structure that it relied on, and when that's happening, clarity disappears, just momentarily. I remember sitting in my own post-divorce in between, knowing that the decision I made was right, yet I was feeling strangely off afterwards. On the outside, I was functioning, I was showing up, I was making plans, but internally there was this quiet disorientation, like I had lost my internal compass. I wasn't falling apart, I just couldn't settle. And that's when I realized that this wasn't about clarity. My body just had completely lost its structure. Now, if parts of you feel exposed right now, that makes complete sense, because often that's the part that's been holding everything together, managing the logistics, staying functional, making the right choices, while quietly wondering why it still feels so hard. And that internal contradiction can be very confusing. You might look at your life and think, I handled the divorce, I did what I needed to do, so why don't I feel like more settled, more in control? There's nothing wrong with you for that. This isn't you failing to move on. It's your nervous system asking for more support than it had before. And for many women, this shows up in a constant low-level tension or a sense of always being on even when nothing's happening. It can look like overthinking, emotional numbness, or feeling a sense of tiredness in a way that rest doesn't quite fix. And because it's subtle, it often goes unnamed, which is why so many women assume they should be way further along than where they actually are. So if you're listening to this and feeling seen, that's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because your system has been doing its best to protect you in the middle of a massive transition. And when you understand that, something important changes. We stop treating the season like a problem to fix and start relating to it as a system that needs support. And that's where the shift begins. There's one more distinction that's important here. A lot of women think they're supposed to be in their complete healing journey right now, processing everything, understanding everything, making meaning of everything. But healing requires capacity, and stabilization comes first. It is what allows your nervous system to stop scanning for danger long enough to actually integrate what you've been through. And without stabilization, healing turns into overthinking, insight turns into self-monitoring, and reflections turns into exhaustion. So if you've been trying to work through your divorce and feeling more tired instead of clear, that's not because you're doing it wrong. It's simply because your system is asking for grounding before you start implementing the growth. Here's the shift that changes everything. Instead of asking, what should I do next with my life? Ask this instead. What feels uncertain right now and what actually feels unsafe? Those are not the same thing. Your body doesn't need certainty to move forward. It needs safety. And when you confuse the two, you end up trying to think your way out of a biological response. This is why what felt like being stuck was actually your system trying to stabilize. Now, I want you to reflect on this either now or later if you journal, and ask yourself, what did I expect divorce to bring clarity to? And what did it actually destabilize? Now, the gap between those two answers explain almost everything that you're feeling. This isn't something to solve. So let me ground what we just covered. First, divorce removes structure from your nervous system, not just from your life. Second, when structure disappears, your body prioritizes safety over clarity. So forcing answers can actually make things worse. And lastly, what you've been calling being stuck is often your system trying to stabilize after change happened too fast. And the shift is this: you don't need clarity yet. You need steadiness, and steadiness can be built. When safety returns, clarity will ultimately follow. Now, this is one of those videos that lands differently the second time. If it resonated, tell me in the comments below what finally made sense for you. And the next video you should watch is Spiral Break, because once your system is in a steady space, we can interrupt the mental loop that keep pulling you back. So I will see you there.